Okay, so I'm going to follow up my last video, the last Bitcoin video. We are just, Bitcoin is just, it's basically, we're getting a lot of selling. So I did say that we had that lucid SAR area, that 250 was probably a good area to buy. It did go below that. If you would have got in there, you would have had somewhat of a return to the upside. Um, let's see, where would that have been? That's 49. You can say here. So right around here, the highest return you had got would about 7 or 8%, which is not bad within, about a half a day. But here was the issue. So I said we needed a good CMF. We needed a good buy-in here at this area. And we started to get that. We started to get that. We even went up. I mean, this looked very, very promising. If I look at the But here, I think here was the issue. So we had the negative funding rates. It went pretty neutral. We were flattening out, and as of today, we were actually in decent shape. And then sometime around, I believe it was noon, there was an announcement that his administration is going to possibly, or they are going to put up a proposal to increase the capital gains tax. I believe upwards of around 43%, something like that. So that started some selling into the markets, and I actually looked at the S&P futures, about a couple minutes ago, and they were actually positive. So the market is up in post market overall, but Bitcoin's still selling off. So the issue with that is that. And I also saw some reports that that's going to be proactive for 2021. So if you did any selling, again, the news is kind of sketchy because no details have come out, and those details are going to be released sometime next week, I believe, is what I saw on a bunch of the outlets. So, but the selling essentially started at noon across pretty much everywhere. So we did have what I call this area of resistance, and should have served as support, and it really didn't. There was a lot of selling there. Initially, it started off with the miners shutting down. About 20 to 25% of the hash power had went down, and that caused, there was some Bitcoin that moved on exchange, and it looked like that started selling. What do I want to pull up? So that's where this was, and I said I wanted price to kind of get to where the Ichimoku cloud was, where this cross was, and that actually never got there. And I said if it got to the 30 MA, I mean that'd probably be likely where it would go to if we had follow through as far as the price action goes. And it almost got there, but it never really got. I would say by today we should have been always upwards of like 58, 59 area. But we were not. So we sold off. And this sell off is actually pretty substantial. So if we go from where the high was to where we went, that's a 25% retracement. So I said 15 to 25% pullbacks, in this cycle were pretty much there. This was as well, 20%. There always was a little bit of concern of going to the lower 50s, again, and we've broken that. There is an area that wasn't retested all the way back from March, right around here. So 46,416. So right now last bull cycle, 2017, there was retracements as much as 30, 35%. So we're in this 25% range. This isn't out of the ordinary yet for this cycle, even a 30%, because we did have one that was 31 a couple of weeks ago. I say a couple of weeks ago. Look, so this would bring us to 28. 31 would be right around lower 40s. This is the one I'm talking about right here. That was, I believe, 30 something percent. And this one's 26. Which one? We had one that was, I think it was this one right here. Yeah, this was the back in January. That was the 31%. So not uncommon, right? So we can technically go, we can go as low down as mid 40s and still keep our bull cycle intact. based on historical price action, uh, once we've closed a monthly before above double the previous all-time high, prices never wicked below that. That would be right around 40,000. So what would it be exactly? Let me look, just so that we know the exact number rather than I say just 40,000. So the exact number would be, once we go 2 times that. So that was 19,891.99. So 19,891.99 times 2. So that's 39,783. So I'll put that on here, and we'll make it. What do I want to make it? Something, a color that I don't normally use. What was it? 39,783. I'll just put it somewhere for now, and then I can change it. Coordinates 39,780. Nope, 83. Oh, 39,783, not 383. 783 and 98 cents. All right, so there's the absolute. That's the line in the sand right here. So if price would go below this, that would be. We'll make it like a fuchsia color, since I don't ever really use that color. Fuchsia, pink, whatever. So that would go against all historical price action if price even wicked below that. So we can get to 41, we can get to 39, we can get to 46. Price is already starting to rally. So, a lot of the alts have been getting demolished. DOGE, I know, got demolished. I think it made it finally to where I said it was going back to 20 cents. So that call was actually good. I mean, Bitcoin is pulling back. This isn't uncommon in a cycle. News usually only affects markets for a couple of days, but it could be extended. Tomorrow is the weekend. There could be some more selling, even though the S&P futures is up right now. There could be some selling to cover any sort of weekend risk there is. I'm pretty sure maybe there might be some details more about this proposal on the weekend, and then definitely more next week. But it's, the proposal, like I said, from what I read, it's proactive. So even if you did sell before the announcement, you would still get in it. And if your income was more than 400,000, you would get hit with this 43% capital gains tax. And just for reference, the capital gains tax right now is 15% and 20%. Long-term capital gains, so it's anything that you hold longer than a year, and then the 15 and 20% is also based off of your income. You can look at that. You can Google that and look at that and figure that out. But that's just the general outline. So right now we're looking at 25% pullback. Still not really concerned. I would have. So if we get a rally, here's the problem too. The market. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my moving averages. So if I'm playing this long term, based on my scaling in, and let me hide this because I might delete that later. So here's the problem: weekly still positive. The market is still net long. They're probably right to be net long because this is an aggressive pullback, and we could get a price rally. But I'm not going to say that this market is not done to the downside until this goes negative. So until we get, especially on the daily, it can be positive. Again, I'll go back to 2017. We can get areas in here in the cycle where it can be positive, and we can get some aggressive price movement to the upside, especially here. It was very, very positive, but we ran up so much even here. So it dipped and then ran up, and then we went negative consolidation. So I would like to see it go negative so that once this goes lower or negative, that means basically everyone's short the market. And that's usually when, hey, we usually pop back up. When everyone has kind of shifted, lost maybe a little bit of hope, and, they're looking for more downside, then we'll probably consolidate and go back up. So we failed to hold, and it looks, and particularly it looks pretty bad on the weekly. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basically a month and a half. And if we close below this 49.328, that'd be extremely bad. Given if we close below this low from last week, this 51,300, that would be particularly bad. That would pretty much, I think, get us to this mid 40 range. But here's the other concern as far as maybe even a more aggressive pullback to the lower 40s, is if we're most likely going to close the week, because there's only 3 more days in this week. We're most likely going to close the week below the 8. Price is going to be below the 8, this intermediate moving average. And if we still have a positive funding rate whenever we open next week, I'd be a little concerned that we're probably not going to rally and we'll go lower into next week. The CMF is really starting to go down. I know the RSI broke down as well. We had been above that overbought area, which was showing us that we still had momentum, but we were getting this bullish divergence. So this could technically go down to, 40 or 30 like it did in the past. This was 50. Oh, no, it went to 54. So we went to 50s. We're kind of in that area, but it can go down a little bit more maybe to close the week down. But let me tell you, like catching knives and trying to confirm if this is actually the end of the cycle and the beginning of a bear, in hindsight, it's 2020. But whenever it's actually happening, it's very hard to call, because right here, price went below it, you would have exited, and then really and then price crashed 23%, and then it rallied the next week 44%. So you really wouldn't enter because this right here, this 3,000. A lot of people were saying that this was the top in mid 2017. You really wouldn't re-enter this back to the upside until you went above the prior 2-week high, which was 26.36. So you wouldn't have gotten this. If you wouldn't have gotten the bottom perfectly, no one gets that. You would have missed out on basically 30 to 40%. Maybe probably would have been more. Say if you would have got here on the opening, you would have definitely missed out on at least almost 40% of upside, and waited until it closed below that previous 2-week high to reestablish your position. Because right now, if the week closes below the 8, and we are having this right here trend down, and the 8 has already closed below the longer term 30 MA, you would exit 15% of your allocation, and then you would wait to get back in once you broke above the prior 2-week high. So next week, price would have to rally. Say we closed here, price would have to rally another 30% for you to even be confident that we're going higher once we broke the previous all-time high. So really the entry, you would almost want to wait for another 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks, so maybe another month until it gets back above these upper 50s, closes below, say, 58,000 for you to re-enter. But I honestly don't believe that this is the cycle top. It'd be out of the ordinary for us to go. I mean, we went high, but, and we do have, Mayor multiple band. We never got to this upper end. The pullback here, there's some next support lines at 38. Again, based on what we have on historical price action, that's really not possible. Bitcoin would be acting out of the ordinary. Our RSI never got to 90, 95 area. It did get to 93, but it's pulling back. The golden ratio multiplier, actually, no, the moving averages, I had talked about them, and I said that it was coming up. There's going to be a lot of top indicators that break this cycle. This one it crossed. Where did it cross? When did we get a date? It crossed back here on the 12th, and it's been accurate in the past to catch the top within 5 days, and 2 days later there was a top. So was that the top? Was 64,899, say 64.9, was at the top for the cycle? There's some price being supported here. There is some moving averages that were helpful the last cycle. the 50, the 120, the 128, and the 200. So the 200, we haven't pulled back to the 128 yet, but we did multiple times in 2017. So yeah, the 128 is sitting at right around 45. Maybe within the next 2 days, I have a a moving average that shows where it's going to be, a predictive one. Where is it at? Right here, the forecast one. Let me update these numbers. And the 200. So that would be in 3 days, or so the 8, 9, it would be right around this. So can we pull back to the 128, something that was really reliable in 2017 and then bounce? Possible. But again, even if we did go there, it still wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see 28% pullback and then in the next couple of weeks be new all-time highs. Everyone's super happy. So that's Bitcoin. And, if you did want to, if we close this week, which we most likely are, or even if you wanted to jump ahead, you could exit 15%. That's the way this strategy works, of your allocation, and then just sit on the sides and be happy with those returns. But if you don't believe that this is the cycle top, there's other indicators that saying it's not, then you would just stay in it and blood in the streets. And if you have some cash on the side, maybe buy some Bitcoin in this dip. But Doge actually finally hit the 1 hour where it didn't go back and retest. Right here, it was at 19,056. It bounced. It actually went lower, went to almost. It was at 16 cents essentially. I mean, that bounce is already huge, 30% from the lows that just got hit within the last hour. But this hit it, clearing out. You do have one down here, but that got retested on the 4 hour. You have one all the way down here at 14.53, so that would have been nice. I still think that Doge is not worth what it was. I don't think it's going to $1. Is it likely if this cycle continues, it gets all the way back up to 43 cents? Yeah, there is an area here that wasn't retested. We didn't spend that much time. So the buyers can come back in with strength and then bring it all the way back up to here. But that would just be, a double top, and there are no double tops, or they're not really as likely or as prominent as they used to be. So maybe we get a new all-time high, so say 50 cents or something. But, all this right here is still fair game as far as where Doge can go. This is a break. We can go back as low as 10 cents. So it can still drop another 50. Where is it at from where it was? It's already down 50% and down as much as 64%. So that's a little bit on that. Like I said, the S&P I had went over last time, and I did say that it was possible that we would go down to this daily 9 that we didn't get to, and I said that could happen within the next day or two. We didn't quite get there, but I think we will get there maybe over the next week, depending on what the news is next week. Or, there is futures prices are up right now, but our post market's up right now. But tomorrow there could be some selling later in the day or midday to get us back to this, 40.98, say 4,100. So that's about it. I really wish I was a little bit faster on this dip. I did call that we could, get that large sell-off. That was a nice call. This was reversal candle. That follow through, basically, that was key as far as not coming through. I think the CMF probably supported that as well. You can see that's not increasing. It decreased. And then I think even on the 4 hour, that was probably the case. Right here. So that was the 20th. Where's it at? Man, how low did that go? 53,430. Right here. So it says the 19th, but it was really, oh yeah, it was right before. But it was the daily close. So, and there was strength as we were going flat, but it just didn't hold. And then today that announcement just sold it off. But
we need to watch that funding rate. That funding rate needs to turn. We could get a rally right here all the way back up to, say, 51.4. There's a 9 right here. I think on the 4-hour it hasn't. Yeah, it's still collapsing down, but you can see that the CMF is starting to trend up as price goes down. There's bullish divergence there. RSI probably shows that as well. So there's probably going to be a rally soon. Yeah, we're already oversold. Almost oversold here. But look, there's bullish divergence here on the RSI as price went down. So that's actually okay. Daily, we're not oversold yet. We could get it 8, 9. And in order for us not to print a 9, we would have to be higher than this 5 right here. We would have to close back above 53.8, which isn't a large move from where we're at. 7-8%, that's nothing for Bitcoin. So we'll see how it goes. But I appreciate it, and I always appreciate y'all watching. And here's the price levels. You can see that there's support there. That's mid 40s. So is this almost over? Probably. Yeah, we didn't catch the exact bottom. You know, it went, 9% lower, 6% lower. If you would have set that 53,250 around there, but you're not always gonna catch the bottom perfectly, and you're not always gonna catch the top perfectly. The goal, like I said, is to be profitable. So, but appreciate it. Probably try to do a video tomorrow, and maybe sometime during the weekend. Definitely on the weekly open. So, but that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I told you I talked about gold as well. That still looks pretty strong. Didn't get much sell-off. It actually got some strength. So that's a good opportunity to scale in still on that until that breaks down. But right now that looks relatively good. Everything's starting to trend up. So gold looking good. And the play is really silver. So silver looks good as well. It'd be nice if it closed above the 2-week high, 26.30, which is only 15 cents. So it has the opportunity to do that tomorrow. But other than that, gold, silver look okay. So appreciate it, and thanks for watching.